Hello, hello, beautiful people of the internet. It is time for our very own homegrown tournament, the BattleBrawl. This is number 5. Hello, Roxanne, it's me, Squigs86, Jensen1, Lucid Davi, Cool Doge, Chilean Raider, Apples and Fruits, Antiwian, and Bijante, Rage Stakinski, George Rockland. Welcome, welcome, one and all. So, for those who are unfamiliar with this, I'll give a very brief explanation before we get started. On the Discord, I had a sign-up sheet, which is just a big old spreadsheet with a bunch of units with point values, not too dissimilar for how a lot of tabletop games assign point values to the strength of a unit kind of thing. And then let loose the hounds for 32 members of the community to submit a team, and those are the ones that you see on the screen right now. And so this tournament format will be a little bit different from the previous. It's been popular enough that I wanted to open up more slots for people to submit their teams. So this will be 32 as opposed to the previous 16 double elimination. Hello, hello, the Pongal, Agrippa, and Chilean Raider, Bagameista. Hello, hello. So yeah, we'll be getting started here shortly. This BattleBrawl, I'm going to split the stream into 2 different streams. The full stream of like 30 some battles gets to be a little bit tiring, a little bit draining. Excuse me. So I'm going to be splitting it up into 2. Also, time constraint situation makes it so that, you know, I've got a certain amount of time this evening, then I got a certain amount of time tomorrow. So we will get things started here shortly. So I've got the teams up on the screen. The way this will work is, you know, I'll show the brackets between matches. In this case, you can see what's coming up next. The brackets will update because I'll be updating them as we go along. So this will be Undead, Distraction versus Toughest Guys. And then I will show the battle screen where you'll be able to see the contenders. The way that they are arranged here will always be the top team, Undead, Distraction, will always be the one on the left, and Toughest Guys, the one on the bottom, will be the one on the right. So, top to bottom, left to right, like most, well, like the way you would read and write English. Undead Distraction is your team? All right, well, good luck to you. I will be doing a poll. Whoops. That's not an exclamation mark, man. That is a slash for me. I'll be doing a poll and prediction where you can bet channel points, which, you know, I haven't had many good ways of using them, but you know what? They can be for pride. So I've got the poll up. Gonna get the prediction here in just a moment. Boom. Oh, hopefully is the prediction, how much time did I put on that? Did I screw that up? Hopefully I did it for 1 minute. That's what I meant to do in any case. Looks like I did. Looks like I did it for 1 minute. The fun thing is that I can see who people are putting their channel points on as things go along. I can see them coming in. It's very fun to watch it swing. You got about like 20 to 30 seconds left. Looks like Toughest Guys used to have more bets, but now Undead Distraction is in the lead with 66% at the moment. This is about as bad as a matchup. Well, I don't know. I feel like this one could go either way. And it seems that the members of the community agree. This is a perfectly even split, both in the poll and the prediction. All right. Well, let's get this party started. We begin our first battle. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're too fast. We're too fast. We're too fast. Hold up. Okay. All right. There we go. Slowed her down now. Still confident? You're always confident? Good. Also, I do love how it, you know, it displays in chat who you predicted the winner will be. Yeah, Hedgie has a famed mace, which that's a pretty good weapon. Whereas the other, oh wait, yeah. Yeah, the Hedgie has a famed mace and the Executioner appears to have a famed, oh my goodness, flail. Executioner will hard carry. Yeah, that Executioner is looking pretty strong. I think a lot is going to be riding on toughest guys to take out these berserkers before they get out of control. If they don't, they're in danger. Do you have a way of looking at the famed items rolls? I don't think so. Not that I know of. One thing that I could do, and probably will do at the start of each match, the Sandstorm and Man Crusher. That's the names of our champions. Pretty cool. Alright, there's a lot of bleed stacks and damage on the berserkers. But they're looking pretty strong, not gonna lie. Good stun from our knight there. Sand on the Hedge Knight is OP. Yeah, so it looks like all the mercs are engaged in melee now. They do have Overwhelm, and they have the speed advantage over the Undead distraction. Do we have a full teams list? We do. If you type the exclamation mark command, that will bring up the bracket, and you can see the full team list there, including the current state of the bracket as well. I think the numbers advantage here is probably gonna make it so that Undead Distraction pulls ahead, I think. What I'm seeing here is that the Undead are, true to their name, being a good distraction. And as long as those Berserkers can stay alive until a whole bunch of death happens around them, they can get the sufficient rage stacks to carry the day. And we'll see if the Hedge Knight can get another stun. He's got another chance in a second. And he does! Incredible. Oh, these are bounty hunters, right? Not mercenaries. These are bounty hunters. Bounty hunters are a unit that only appears in like a specific contract situation. Pretty rarely seen. They are very strong. They have nimble. Glad to see someone drafting them, that's for sure. And they're making good use of footwork, surprisingly. In an event with a contract with an add-on, a leader named the Robber Baron. Oh. Let's see if the Hedge Knight can get another stun here. That's funny. Of course, then his ally pushed that Executioner back, which I don't think that was good, actually. Keep in mind, Hedge Knights do have all weapon masteries, so he's always going to succeed with that. Disco Nick, thank you for the sub. Let's go Brawlers. Paid actor. He does seem like he might be throwing it. Regardless, things are looking pretty good for Undead Distraction. But we'll see. We'll see if that Hedge Knight can manage to win the day. That Hedge Knight, the stuns, out of control. These are two strong teams. I will say that the single elimination format does mean that, you know, some strong teams are going to get eliminated in the first round, for sure. Ooh, Hedge Knight couldn't quite get a Berserk proc there. He was almost able to finish off that zombie. A good choice by the Undead Distraction drafter to make these the zombie nomads, or the nomad zombies, because they've got shields that they can spawn with, making them quite a bit more durable. Hedge Knight missed his stun this time. Ruh-roh. Though he's confident. It's looking like the toughest guys are setting up to run away, though. And I think that's probably going to be all she wrote for the toughest guys. The Undead Distraction appears to be carrying the day. All right. And the winner is the Undead Distraction. So then between each match, I will be updating the score. Oh, I need to start the tournament. Okay. Okay. There we go. How was that thunderstorm for you? Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so up next will be the Hedges Angels up against Speara. Love it. These are two great names. I will say one of the things that I enjoy most about this, secretly, not only is the creativity of the community and, you know, coming up with the teams, compositions and things like that. Honestly, just the team names. Been some real zingers, some real winners, some real good ones. And it's a good mix of, sometimes they're just like descriptive, like, you know, they describe what the team is, and at other times they're just fun. You enjoy the Slay the Spire stream? Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Psycho Link. It was fun to stream another game. Want to get a little, I don't know, practice stepping outside the Battle Brothers for just a moment before I start on, hopefully, a long and entertaining journey through XCOM, Enemy Unknown. All right. So, up here we've got the Hedges Angels versus Speara. The Hedges Angels is, of course, headed up by a Hedge Knight, as you might expect. And then they've got a Goblin Shaman, a Gunner, 3 Great Swords, or Zweihanders, and then 3 Ancient Legionaries. That's what the Skeleton Medium is. And then on the right, Speara has a King of the North, is who that'll be, with 2 Serpents, 2 Shamans, a Berserker, an Overseer, and a Barbarian Champion, which is a Chosen. So can you shrink the chat box? Unfortunately, no, because it's an HTML element that is set by Stream Elements, so I don't have an easy way of going in and changing it. Hopefully, you know, you should be able to just barely see what's there, though. I understand it is right up against it. Chat needs to type shorter messages. Yes, something like that. All right. So Hedges Angels versus Speara. The poll is up. We'll get the prediction going in just a second. Also, for what it's worth, these team names are direct copy-paste. So any choices when it comes to capitalization or spelling are done on behalf of the person who submitted the team. How far into it are we? We just did one match. just one match, the Chaucer. Undead, Distraction versus Toughest Guys. So I don't think, yeah, neither of those are your team. I don't remember which one's your team, but I know it's not those. Hedges Angels is funny. Yeah, oh yeah. As is Spearanoid. This could be an interesting one. I'm really curious how the two serpents will perform. Because their ability to pull units in, onesie twosie, if the shaman's able to lock up the backline, could be really cool. But will the AI do that? That's the real question. Looks like there are more believers in Hedges Angels at just about 69% predictions. And at 68%, people believe in Hedges Angels. All right. Sergio, you ready to mine Goblin? I'm ready to see what happens. Hello, hello, Ball and Stella. Let's get this show on the road. We will have the Wolf versus the King of the North. The champion Barbarian King will always be called the King of the North. And he got a good weapon. He's got the best possible weapon with that axe. And yeah, that is a Berserk Chain Berserker, which is probably the best weapon he could have ended up with. Ooh. And we've got a little bit of a mirror match thing going on here with the shamans. That's kind of cool. It's gonna really lower damage output for both teams for quite a while. Big stun. Big stun by that Berserker. Ooh, Zweihander gets a big attack, piercing through, hitting that shaman. Gunner mostly shoots his allies. King of the North! Oh boy. And unfortunately, the Hedgie at the back of Hedges Angels has spent the whole battle in some vines. Big yikes there. The shamans are, I think, going to be a hidden, powerful tech in this particular format, because the insect swarm is super strong at just mitigating a really powerful unit. That was pretty good by that little snack. The serpent did some good work there. 11k points gone in a moment. Well, we'll see. This Hedge Knight does have, it appears, a named sword, I think. Can't tell if that's just noble sword or if that's a fancy version. It must be a fancy version. Unless it's a named shield. Actually, that's probably a named shield. Yeah, it's the kite shield. I think you're right, Roxanne, it's me. Yeah, famed kite shield. So otherwise he's just got an arming sword. Big hit by that Berserker. Man, this is brutal. Shamans were the MVP? Yeah, Shamans did work. And now they're just using all their spells, debuffing this poor Hedge Knight. We'll see if this Hedge Knight can be nice and evasive. He can get some real good, big damage in. Not there though. He does have a high ground hex. We'll see how this can work out for him. Looks like it's kind of not working out for him. And wow, a big victory for Spearanoid. Only 32% of believers. Man. Wowza. That is quite the outcome. And the winner is Spearanoid. So up next, we will have the French Briggies up against Grim Motley. Be loading up the teams here in just a moment. I should put a spot in the submission form for what you want your team's music to be. So far, I've just been selecting based on what I feel is most appropriate, based on the team composition. But I don't have to do it that way. I could make it so people can pick. Probably should do that. What you gonna do? Like not battle? No, it would be limited to the music tracks that you see here. Anyway, you asked your brother to create a team for the next brawl. Nice, nice. Well, I mean, my wife submitted a team, and she won one match. Okay, so on the left, the French Briggies. We've got a champion executioner, 4 footmen, an orc warrior, 2 billmen, an arbalester, a nomad archer, and a goblin overseer. On the right, Grim Motley also has a champion executioner, a goblin overseer, 6 ambushers, 1 fallen betrayer, and 6 thugs. So we'll get the poll up. Poll's rolling. We'll get the prediction going as well. Prediction is rolling. Goblin Shamans are still super cheap, which is amazing since Slurgy killed the Brigmac meta. Yeah, I probably do need to increase their cost slightly, and I probably need to bring down a few of the previous, high rollers a little bit as well. Hexen being a big one. I want to see at least a few people try to run Hexen. It was a bit too much when teams centered their whole strategy around it, but it would be fun to see at least a few more people doing that. All right, we've got, holy buckets, huge bets rolling here. Oh my goodness. We've got 66% of the channel point predictions on Grim Motley. Oh boy. You wanted Hexen but saw the price on it? Yeah. All right. If you don't believe in your own team, why are you playing? Fair enough. Well, let's see. Will this be a win for Napoleon, or who was the guy Napoleon had a rivalry with? There was some English dude. I feel like I could bring down Orc Warriors. I don't know. They were quite the potent force previously. So we've got one executioner with a named flail. The other executioner here is spawning with a named body armor. Duke of Wellington, that's the one. Hexen without bodyguards is troll. Yeah, I will bring back the bodyguard. That will return. So we've got some ambushers already getting some poison down. The executioner on the side of the French Briggies is going for the flank, whereas on Grim Motley, he's got his executioner right front and center. Thug's actually doing pretty good, getting a stun in, though I have a feeling they'll fall pretty quick once the Yeah. But still, a stun is a stun. Fallen Betrayer moving forward. More poison being laid down on onto the French Briggies. Of course, Orc Warriors have Relentless, though they only have 8 AP, so if they have a 4 AP weapon, we'll only be able to swing it once. So, still very relevant. Executioner did an execution. Other Executioner also did an execution. Kite Shield's gonna make a difference between the front lines? Yes. Well, and it looks like the Overseer doing a good job of keeping the morale steady on the side of Grim Motley. Hey, Giant Spruce, good to see ya. Thank you for the congratulations. Yes, I have never played, not only have I never played Long War, I've never played XCOM. I will be playing it for the first time next week. Fingers crossed, should be on Monday. Either Monday or Tuesday. And I'll be starting with base XCOM, just because I've never played it, and people have described base XCOM as kind of a good warm-up for the Long War. I'm gonna love it? Good, I hope so. I hope so. Hello, Black Flag. Here to support the French Briggies. Well, it's a pretty close match right now. I could see this one going either way. It's still pretty even. Enemy unknown first. Okay, good. That is what I was planning on doing, so. Can you get on the XCOM name list? Is that a thing in XCOM? Okay, yeah, I'll figure something else there. Let's figure something out. That Bardiche is eating. The Bardiche and the Flail. The Orc Warrior and the Fallen Betrayer have been duking it out for a little while as well. Now these ambushers are going to be a suitable distraction. I have a feeling that the Nomad Executioner on the side of the French Briggies is going to be distracted for a little while. You'd also love to be a soldier? Okay, I'm not going to take the request now because I have no way of like bringing them up or fielding them, but I will keep that in mind. PC Space Goon, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. It looks like the Grim Motley soldiers are fleeing, leaving only their Fallen Betrayer on the battlefield. Yeah, those ambushers are running away, as is this Executioner, which is kind of a shame because his health is still real high. Betrayer got betrayed, yeah. Maybe we just start with whoever didn't get a Battle Brothers bro for the XCOM list? Maybe. Yeah, the Executioner running away is that's the big shame. Yeah, you wish the mod had absolutely no running away, yeah. Yeah, the thing is that the ability to run is actually like one of the AI scripts. So it does seem like one potential way this mod could work would be that AI script just becomes disabled. And there we have it. The winner is the French Briggies. First time in history it's not the French running. Okay. Up next, we will have Crimson Rain versus Second Wind. I will admit, from looking at the teams, Second Wind is one that immediately stood out to me as one that I like. And so I apologize in advance for the caster curse. You know, I enjoy what Second Wind's got going on. You know. Yeah. Soji, when are you planning to do the Battle Brawlers during XCOM? I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Have not decided. Whoops. That's not the button I meant to press. Ryuzaki 2 says, oh no. I believe that's Ryozaki's team. I like it. It's a good one. I like the concept. I like the units you've chosen. I think you found some good ones. Very atypical set of units that not a lot of other people are using, but that I think are strong. And well, anyway, I'm sorry for all those nice words I just said. R.I.P. Okay, so Crimson Reign has a King of the North, a Barbarian King, a Barbarian Drummer, and 5 Barbarian Chosen. Second Wind is running with a Champion Necromancer, the first one we've seen so far. There will be more. 3 Sergeants, 1 Standard Bearer, 4 Ranged Mercs, and a Donkey. The poll is up. The prediction will be going as well. Prediction is rolling. One more side question. You mentioned playing a ton of Brood War and StarCraft. Who did you main? In Brood War, my most played race would have been Terran. And in StarCraft 2, I played initially during the beta. I think there was a beta. I played Terran, and then I played Protoss upon release and then switched to Zerg. So, yeah. I knew we could still be friends. Oh boy. Well, if I chose each race, you know, so who could I offend when I've played them all? Looks like we got 91% believers in Crimson Reign. Again, apologies for Second Wind. You're big into Zerg once you can inject on hatcheries. Well, you could inject from the beginning, but you're saying like just, yeah, that mechanic was, you know, a fun little multitasking thing. Okay, so we've got most believers in Crimson Reign. We'll see what happens. That's true, you could not inject hatcheries in Brood War. The Queen was a flying unit. Did you miss bets? Seems you did, they just closed. All right, let's get this match started. We've got the King of the North versus Rupert the Obsessed. Now, these Archer Mercs are going to be overwhelming their opponents. Sergeant Slap, you believe in Second Wind? Sergeant Slap. Sergeants absolutely slap. The Sergeant with the military cleaver is a force to be reckoned with. And 2 of these mercs have warbows. That one on the bottom looks like he's not going to be using it for much longer, though. How does the Barb have the Man-Man cleaver? Well, it's one of the things that the King of the North can spawn with. Yeah, double warbow is nice. Ooh, unfortunate misses there for those sergeants. There will be some bodies for the Necromancer to make use of here soon, I think. A lot of Adrenaline's there. One big old bonk. The donkey's a great bodyguard for the Necro. Yeah, agreed. The Necromancer should be able to raise up a zombie and then possess it. So he'll have that going for him. Chooses not to? Maybe waiting for the second half of the round? The Sergeant's attacking the King of the North is not the play. Oh, that head looks not resurrectable? Oh, that's true. That is one rough-looking head. Well, sorry, Second Wind. There are now some actual corpses that appear to have their heads intact, though. There you go. Look at him go. Well, that top chosen is gonna die. Oh my goodness, going for the donkey. Questionable choice. Ooh. Rupert the Obsessed, certainly in danger here. Merc's having trouble connecting their shots. So we'll see. They're still above 35%. So each team will continue to fight on. The overwhelm stacks would matter more if those archers would attack targets that, you know, that mattered. Of course, the zombies will continue to fight and continue to resurrect, at least an additional time. I really liked Second Wind. In an alternative reality, I feel like Second Wind could have won the whole thing. But it's not looking like that reality is this reality. The caster curse is, unfortunately, quite real. And they run away. And so the winner is Crimson Rain. 87% of you got it right. All right, up next, we will have Conquest versus Slow Uprock. Okay. These are two very fun teams as well. I remember smiling when I saw these two going up against each other because I really liked, I like both of these. I like both of these teams. Okay. Slurgy's stamp of approval is a kiss of death. Fact. Fact. Okay. It's gonna end in a draw now. Conquest has one champion goblin ambusher and two conquerors alongside an arbalester. Slow Uprock has a champion orc warlord with two necro savants, a bandit raider with the direwolf cloak, and two barbarian thralls. poll is up. Prediction will be up in just a moment. Did anyone do an Alp Necromancer or Vampire Necromancer build? We'll just have to wait and see. None so far. You can see which your team is. It's in Rockish. Some Battle Brothers action while making the night working is just wonderful. Good. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Looks like we've got 98% believers in Conquest. People have seen the power of the Conqueror in the previous Battle Brawl. The cost was increased substantially from the previous Battle Brawl number 4. That's not swaying the channel point predictions though. They've come in hot and heavy for Conquest with 93%. Oh boy. Well, let's see if we end up with a couple big winners or not. We've got Zatox the Stabber and Mugnatter. I'll be really curious to see what these Necrosavants do. They did wait throughout the first round. They like to wait until there's melee contact before they engage. Zatox the Stabber claims first blood. I'm a little confused by what the Conquerors are doing. Kind of retreating a little bit. Also interesting, I never realized that the Conqueror has different, like there's two different faces. I kind of assumed both Conquerors would look exactly the same. Appears that's not the case. Necrosavant has gone ahead and got on top of the Arbalester, who will not be long for this world. Conquerors have range superiority for the first time in their lives. Yeah, not something that they are used to, I wouldn't think. So now it will be Conquerors on this Orc Warlord champion. He will, of course, have the assistance of some Necrosavants. He does a lot of damage, though. The Conquerors have a 95% chance to hit the Orc Warlord, which is kind of crazy. Oh boy. Orc Warlord showing he is, he's pretty potent. They can heal on the Undead, which seems strange, considering there is like a has blood kind of tag in the code, which bleeding injuries will check, but the Necrosavant can still heal. It's looking to me like Slow a Proc has managed to do it. Conquest has ended, and 7% predictions, boom! Turns out Famed Orc Cleaver is really good versus the Conqueror. Turns out. You also have to remember the Orc Warlord has, like, just innately like a 20% does more damage buff. Something like that. Someone would have to check me on that, but something like that is true. At least Conqueror won't get nerfed into the ground now. Unless there's another team with the Conqueror who wins it all. All right, up next, we have Evil Prevails versus Green. Wah! At least, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Just a string of vowels. You did well? Okay, good. I am known to speak in other languages just to offend the people. I either offend all the Germans who say, yeah, close enough, or I speak in Korean, to which Korean people don't even understand me, which still strikes me as odd because I feel like I was pretty intelligible, but whatever. Or, you know, a tiny bit of Spanish, which just sounds like someone with an American accent speaking Spanish. No es bueno. All right. So do you sometimes speak in Rockish too? Sometimes. Sometimes. I'm here to offend everyone. That's the goal. All right. So, evil prevails. Do you speak British? Natively. That was my mother tongue. Evil Prevails has a champion necromancer. Happy to see another one of those. A necro savant who will start out damaged. A fallen betrayer, a Zweihander, an orc young, and a barbarian chosen. A nice smattering of units. Whereas green will have a screamin' orc warlord champion, accompanied by a shaman, 4 berserkers, and an orc young. Cool looking teams, I will say. The poll is up. We'll get the prediction rolling here in just a second as well. Prediction is rolling. Can Shaman use vines on the savants? They sure can. They sure can. Can Necros raise orcs and goblins? They cannot. So this is a pretty rough matchup for Evil Prevails. That Necromancer won't have as many targets to resurrect as he would if he were facing humans. There are a few humans on his team, and he will have the fallen betrayer to possess right at the beginning, which will be, of course, quite good. Them orc boya gonna do some smashing. They might. They might do some smashing. And yeah, so a Necromancer champion either is given more AP or the cost of their abilities are lower. They must just be given more AP. They can resurrect 3 units instead of 2. And I think they can resurrect 2 units plus use Possess, whereas normally they can only do 1 resurrect plus Possess. So basically they get an extra resurrection over a normal Necromancer. Something like that. All right. Looks like people are believing in the green. Wah! Let's see what happens. We'll get this party started. Ruthard, the Enlightened, versus Drad Kazan. The battle lines have met already in the first round, wasting no time. Ooh, Necro Savant jumping on the Shaman. That's huge. That's huge. Wow. That Shaman did a lot of damage to that Necro Savant. That's kind of crazy, actually. Yeah, more like the Shaman jumping on the Necro, no kidding. Wow, that Shaman eliminated very quickly. One Berserker down. Things looking... it's kind of looking like evil might prevail here. We shall see. That Necromancer is definitely going to be doomed here in just a moment. Green Machine's got this. This is a little bit of a reprisal of the Green Machine, a classic Battle Brothers squad. Also, hello, Manifest Destiny chat. Necrosavant did better these first 3 turns than all Necrosavants in the last Battle Brawl across all rounds. I have a hard time disagreeing. That sounds correct to me. Green Machine looking pretty strong here. Of course, this Fallen Betrayer has certainly, he's done work. But so far, the champion Orc Warlords proving to be quite powerful. Green Machine is the archetype name for this kind of comp in your headcanon. Mine too. Ooh, both attacks missing that Necrosavant. That's a big deal. The Necrosavant will get a chance to either move or heal up, keeping the side of Evil Prevails alive for now. Getting a kill. It's closer than you thought. Yeah. Same here. Now these Berserkers, ooh, I was about to say, if they're able to get a charge. Oh my goodness. All right. And there we have it. The winner is Green. Wah! Evil doesn't prevail. The orcs are the good guys? The orcs are the good guys. Okay. Well done to Green War. You love the orcs laugh after killing something? Yes. They definitely, and it's like a really long audio file. Like it plays for a full like 5 seconds. That's longer than any of the other like in combat audio files that get triggered. I kind of love it. All right, we've got the Butcher's Napkin versus Stage Rakinski. So how does the if lower than 35% then run work? If the team is winning, they won't run if the enemy team is proportionally lower in numbers to... Oh, there is some... There's slightly more to it than 35%, but I can't remember off the top of my head because it's rarely relevant in like a normal Battle Brothers situation. But it's true that there's slightly more to it than the 35%. But I don't remember exactly what it is. All right, we got Noodle Bean versus Rage Stakinski. Love it. We got some good manners in chat, some GLHFs. You love to see it. You love to see it. So she has so many ways to say who cares, LOL. Called out. Called out. They can return if their opponent loses more and they feel like they've gained the chance again. Yet people return to the fight before an execution and kill lots of enemies. Yeah, I'm just not sure exactly. It's like if they have more units or something as well. I can't recall. We need 1 Hydra in chat for Spice. 1 extra key broken from a keyboard. I still have that somewhere. I need to find that broken key. Anyway, Butcher's Napkin has a nomad leader that we're seeing for the first time. 6 zombie nomads, 6 gunners, and 2 goblin shamans. Kind of a cool lineup. Up against our first time seeing a champion swordmaster, a serpent, and a frosty unhold. Interesting. This is definitely a 2 very creative, interesting teams. Polls up and prediction is up as well. You'd love to see 6 gunners versus a lot of undead, but here it's clear who wins. Is it clear? It might be. We'll see if people agree. Oh, I gotta close out of. Zombies without a necromancer. Yeah, zombies without a necromancer will resurrect naturally, just as they do normally in the game. To a limited amount. Which one is which? It will always be the team listed first is on the left and the team listed second is on the right, since there's no way of putting their team names up top. I will just always follow that scheme. A lot of predictions, a lot of back and forth, but in the end, 57% believe in the Butcher's Napkin. Let's see if that's how it plays out. This is gonna be a really interesting one. I don't know how this is gonna go. So we've got Tariq the Nomad versus Torhelm the Fencer. Goblin Shamans are gonna have a field day in this. That's what I'm thinking. You know, if the Shamans are able to just permanently lock down the squad on the side of Stage Rakinski, they're gonna get a lot done. Now the Gunners are unfortunately not well suited for this fight. You think the Gunners do great here? I think they're gonna shoot their allies a decent amount. I think it's the Shamans who are gonna be the secret heroes. But, I mean, I don't know, maybe the Gunners will get more done than I'm giving them credit for. If the team can even damage the Unhold fast enough, right, that's the thing, is like, can they? I'm not sure. Gonna be a draw? No, I don't think there's any way for this one to end up a draw. If it does turn out that Butcher's Napkin won't have enough damage, then eventually that Unhold will... Wow, Swordmaster disrespecting and gets smashed by a 5% split man from a woodcutter's axe. Oh my god. All these debuffs on the Swordmaster. He has so many melee defense debuffs on him. Holy buckets. We got a very confident Unhold. Napkin power. I love seeing the Gunners though. Scammed? Yeah, that was the thing that I mentioned. Don't get hard countered. Unfortunately, could happen to anyone. And I don't know if the handgunners have any limit to the amount of ammo they have. I'm guessing not. For some reason your eyes completely ignore the 6 zombie nomads. Yeah, they're definitely playing a relevant role here. Somebody brought guns to a sword fight. Yeah, this wasn't even close. I actually thought it would be kind of close, but I didn't expect the Swordmaster to get shut down that hard. Wow. You tested this versus Special Forces and it won a good few? Aha! Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. If you can make a meta prediction on what you'll face, then you can find victory. The Serpent lasted a little while, but in the end, the winner is the Butcher's Napkin. That was indeed some slafter. That's how that word's pronounced, right? Just laughter with an S on the front. Oh man, the Frosty Bros. Another classic. I love how in BattleBrawl number 2, the Frosty Bros just like, you know, they did some Frosty Bro stuff. All right, so up next will be the Greenskin Alliance up against Overwhelm Good. Rochambeaued hard. These are two very nice and thematic team names. What am I? Okay. 1 hour in and already halfway through, we are just about at the halfway point, right? No. How many matches have we had so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 9 more to go, right? Yeah. Okay. So the Greenskin Alliance is a champion goblin ambusher with his allies a goblin shaman, 3 goblin ambushers, 3 orc berserkers, and an armored war dog. That's fun. First time we've seen one of those. Overwhelm Good has a champion gladiator, a Zweihander, 4 mercenaries, and 6 frenzied direwolves. Who is sponsoring BattleBrawl? Whoever wins. Overwhelm Good looks promising. Yeah. I think both of these teams look pretty good, actually. Big lead can. Big lead can. Poll is up and predictions are up. If a single blade dancer ends up winning the tournament, then it turns out it was sponsored by Big Sword Lance after all. I am pouring out Kirkland's signature grapefruit sparkling water. What is the name of the stadium? Oh man, what is the name of the stadium? You know, I will say this. Stadiums in the US used to have such cool names, and now they're all like, here we are at the Wells Fargo Arena, where we see the Verizon Center with US Bank Enterprise. It's like, okay, all right. We get it. Cell phone companies and banks own all the arenas. Great, we love this. Okay. It's looking like Overwhelm Good. Was that the one people believed in? Yes, Overwhelm Good with 75%. Let's see how it turns out. Yeah, not LaCroix this time. All right, so our champion here is Zatak Nosebiter and Rasil the Slave. We've got a named Goblin Boondock Bow and a named Shield. Very nice looking heater shield. So the Berserkers won't have an opportunity to charge and stun if the direwolves get on top of them. Here we are at the Kirkland signature, Sea of Tents, brought to you by Lead Paint. It's good for your bones. Oh my god. That's great. That's great. The Arizona Cardinals play at the ASU Stadium for years when they finally got their own pro stadium. They called it the University of Phoenix Stadium. Okay, that's like really endearing. That's great. No first blood yet. These direwolves managing to... Well, one of them dies. They are, you know, they have gotten on the back line of the Greenskin Alliance, though. Terrible roll for the Glad. Maybe so. I don't know. I think unnamed Heater Shield is actually pretty alright. And his armor setup still allows 40% nimble. So I don't think it's all bad. Big debuff there, put on him by the Goblin Shaman. Because yeah, that Orc Berserker, only a 13% chance to hit. Never underestimate the power of a good shield. These direwolves, they're getting it done. I mean, there's been some serious direwolf damage applied to the Greenskin Alliance. Zweihander with very little concern for the lives of anyone around him, friend or foe. You don't think you've ever seen a dog flee? Yeah, I don't think I've seen that either. They actually might not have the script for it. They might not be able to. Briggy Doggy's doing it right. The Greenskin Alliance simply dismantled. One big attempt at a round swing that unfortunately didn't pan out. And there we have it. Wow, Overwhelm turns out pretty good. Who could have predicted this? Well, 75% of you did, but not I. Yeah, that was a good showing. I'm Overwhelmed good. Hey, they could end up, well, all right. Do I curse them already? Is that rude? Okay. Anyway. We'll get the next match set up. Oh, I need to put their teams in, or their names in. Where's Team Crippling Strikes? Secretly, they're all Team Crippling Strikes. So up next will be Fake Champion versus Ranged Advantage. Overwhelm versus Napkin gonna be a good match? I think so. Who can overwhelm harder? Right. Okay. The teams are up. You feel like Crippling Strikes is the most common perk across all enemies, at least the good ones? Yeah. It seems like almost all enemies have Crippling Strikes and or Executioner. Often both. Okay, so we've got a Goblin Ambusher champion alongside Rockageist. That's what the zombie boss is. Rockageist, ladies and gentlemen. Hence the name Fake Champion. Alongside 4 zombie nomads. Whereas on the side of Ranged Advantage, they've got 1 Goblin Ambusher champion, 6 Goblin Overseers, 1 Goblin Shaman, 7 armored zombies, 1 war dog, and 2 regular zombies. I realize my image is covering up the 2 regular zombies, but there are 2 regular zombies. So we'll get the poll going here. In the previous Battle Brawl where Rocketgeist made an appearance, Rocketgeist did incredibly well, but will that remain the case? We will have to see. This is a weird match. This one's weird. Mercenaries are literally 10 points cheaper than a bounty hunter and better in every stat. No, not better in every stat. One big difference is that bounty hunters have nimble and mercenaries do not. And that's pretty substantial. So I think their cost is probably somewhat appropriate. I don't know that toughest guys would have been better. I'm not sure. Mercs have Battleforge, yeah, but that doesn't. They almost never have heavy armors. Nimble is much better than Battleforged. It's looking like we've got 58% believers in ranged advantage. And that's how it'll end. 58% believe in ranged advantage. This is a weird one. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how this one's gonna go. I can't predict this. Sometimes I feel somewhat confident. This time, not at all. Your team's got to win today. It's been a tough day. Your basement flooded. Oh no. Well, we'll see. Which team is yours, Dark Paladin? I know yours is the one with the Blade Dancer, right? Hidden crossbow? Okay, okay. Wow. Rocketgeist, not a fan of dogs. What a jerk. Hey, Insane Killer. First rounds went well. We had some upsets, some surprise victories, at least for some of the members of chat, including myself, the broadcast Briggy himself. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Crossbow. Are the flesh golems available as well? They weren't in this one, but I will make them available in the future. I'm gonna have to do a little testing with them to determine an appropriate cost. All you can hear when he said is Rocketgeist. I'm not actually sure the right way to pronounce it. Then you gotta survive a room full of unwashed filth. MTG convention. I remember this is like a really old internet meme, but there was some guy who went to an MTG convention and just took pictures next to people's butt cracks and then made a photo montage, and it's very funny. Yeah, MTG ass crack. Yeah. That's it. So you know what I'm talking about. God, so funny. Did Slurgy's favorite team lose? Yes. They lost in the first round. Maybe even the Grand Diviner should test if he gets revived with the Vault Finders. Oh man. Yeah, that would be an interesting one to add as well. So the Shamans are doing a good job of keeping the Rocketgeist down. The real question is, will they be able to keep him down when he resurrects with his ghostly friends? Yeah, the Shamans are really good at taking advantage of small numbers of powerful units by locking them down and giving them debuffs. He got banned for a long time for that, and then his first time back, he did it again. What a legend. What a legend. Yeah, we've got some serious zombie-on-zombie violence. Yeah, that is a certified Giga Chad move. I feel like one unit that is underestimated, that I maybe actually honestly probably have costed too low, is the Goblin Overseer. The Goblin Overseer is quite a powerful unit. They didn't want to ban him again. Maybe they shouldn't have had a bunch of cracks. You know what's funny is the great irony is that one of the reasons for tomorrow that I needed to make the stream shorter was that I'm going to play Magic the Gathering with some friends tomorrow evening for like an in-house limited draft. So it's very funny to me. You know, the irony's not lost on me. I'll try to keep my pants nice and cinched up tight. So Rocketgeist slowly but surely getting beaten down. What color? Well, it'll be a draft, so whatever's available. Can Battle Brothers players have friends? No. Will I show you all the cracks later? I'll see what I can do. It's actually hosted by like a friend of a friend, so I'm going to someone's house who I don't even know. But they said there'd be Magic the Gathering, and so I thought it'd be fun. This is such an unlucky matchup for you. Are you fake champion in Tiwian? Just wear a belt? Nah. I'll let it all hang free. So Rocketgeist still standing. Now, Rocketgeist's second form is actually more powerful than the first. And what's interesting is, since it'll be all Geists, ranged advantage, you know, doesn't have a lot of melee attacks, so there'll be a lot of 5% chance on the Geists. Oop, little friendly fire there. But at the same time, they aren't gonna have morale problems because of the Overseers, so I don't know. Yeah, there's so much friendly fire here. The Shamans don't give a shit about the zombies. Alright, Rocketgeist about to fall. Ideally, for the sake of ranged advantage, they want to take him out in the first half of the round, so that they can get a full set of attacks on the resurrected form. And there it is. One Geist already taken out. They're gonna really struggle to take out the other ones though. This is gonna be real weird, real fast. Geists have a range defense, I believe, of 999. So this could take a while if it's all 5% attacks. I don't know. Okay. Alright, hold on. Let's take a moment to reflect on what just happened. One, that Shaman used Insect Swarm on that Geist, and then the Overseer shot him with a crossbow in melee, a 5% chance, and then took him out. Incredible. Yeah, so you're saying there's a chance. And of course, the cruel falchions that the Overseers use is a pretty decent weapon at just doing hit point damage against the Ghost Rocketgeist. Assuming they're able to hit him, of course. Yeah, Overseers whipping each other into a good mood. That is exactly what they're doing. Yeah, multiple Overseers are good against Geists, for sure. This is a very weirdly specific, like, matchup. A weirdly specific interaction. Chains and whips excite the gobos, indeed. The Lightbringer is a pretty powerful weapon, though. Alright, so his defenses should be nice and low because of that debuff. The Insect Swarm. Going for a 12-man rally and crossbow team next run. I think it'd be pretty strong, actually. The thing is the Goblin Overseer is actually pretty decent in melee still. Like, he's got a pretty big chunk of hit points. And there goes Rocketgeist. It's looking like ranged advantage is probably going to take this one. I don't think there's ever a world where these Geists get lucky enough. This is going to take a while. Potentially. We'll see, we'll see. There is still one zombie who can make his way towards the Geists on the bottom. Such hard counter. Fear builds suck when you can't force units off the map. Well, you can force them off. I mean, I still think, you know, controlling resolve is important, but, yeah, using the AI infinite ammo to their advantage, yeah, they've, for those who don't know, enemies, hey, got the 5%. Enemy units with crossbows or bows have no limitation on the amount of ammo that they have. Throwing weapons are still limited, so if you've got a, you know, Brigand Raider or a Barbarian Reaver who has thrown a bunch of throwing weapons at you, if you're paying close attention, you can keep track of how many they've thrown. Man, these ranged advantage has a bunch of snipers. Sometimes for their allies. That was way faster than it should have been. That was really fast. Wow. And the winner is ranged advantage. Boom. Rolling 5% like it's nothing. Yeah, no kidding. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, 4 ghosts sniped. I mean, to be fair, they did, you know, make a lot of attacks, but still, that was pretty nuts. All right, so up next will be Shock/Awe versus Mind Goblin. AI guns have unlimited bullets? Ah, okay. Yeah, so I suppose you can kind of make the conclusion that anything with like an ammo item, that ammo is infinite? Ha. Swarm of Insects reduces range defense to only 498? Easy. Easy. Easy indeed. Alright, we'll be set up here in just a second. Alright. So this match, Shock/Awe, has a Executioner, a very, you know, popular choice. You recently found this channel by watching the first BattleBrawl. Love the idea. Wonderful. Glad to have you here, Mental Rock 71. They've also got a Mortar and an Engineer, hence the Shock. 6 Goblin Wolf Riders and 2 Goblin Shamans. Mind Goblin, however, is quite the menagerie. 1 Hedge Knight champion, a Goblin Shaman, an Orc Warrior low, a regular Orc Warrior, a Conscript with a polearm, 2 low Goblin Skirmishers, 1 low Orc Young, and 2 Tier 1 Nachos. I realize you can't see those numbers. Maybe I will move my camera just for now. Woo! I'm floating! Okay, I'll just move it there for the moment. That was fun. I took a trip. All right, the poll is rolling. And the prediction will start in just a moment. And the prediction's rolling. These are both trash. Man, we got some trash talk going here. Pray the engineer spawns at the mortar. Right. Scroll up. Yeah, so the Hedge Knight is the champion. There we go. They should all be on screen now. You see mortar, you bet mortar. Yeah, we hope, for those who are betting on Team 1, you do want the mortar and engineer to spawn next to each other. Chilean Raider can't help but add the little accent marks. Yeah, mortars did struggle. If the engineer spawns next to the mortar, then the engineer will use the mortar. Looks like 78% believe in the Mind Goblin. I'll move my webcam back to the corner and we'll get this party started. We have the Head Crusher versus the Mountain. Oh man. We've got some serious Game of Thrones style action going on here. Only instead of a long poisonous spear, it's a cleaver. Very powerful roots by the shamans. Will the engineer know what to do? Will the engineer move 2 hexes to get next to his cannon? You have armor envy? Yeah, it's a good armor. Goblin Wolf Riders doing work. No, engineer! Engineer, the cannon was that way. All right, well. So the way it works in the regular game is that units spawn with like a rank, as in like first rank, like an order, and I think they just force the engineers and mortars to always spawn in the back rank. So that's their way of doing it, but when you set up the combat simulator, I don't have a way of setting that kind of parameter. So, coach needs to cut that guy. I know, right? Shamans on both sides doing serious work though. I probably need to nerf the shaman a little bit. Mortars have always been bait so far. Yeah. They have been. Maced duelist engineer. Hey, at least he's got the weapon that can do a stun. Not to an orc warrior, but, to other enemies. Regardless, even without the mortar, Shock and Awe has been getting some real good work done with these Goblin Wolf Riders. Shamans are too good? Yeah, I think I agree with that. Shamans are probably a little bit too good now. They will be nerfed. I reduced the shaman cost? That sounds like a mistake. Actually, that kind of sounds like an accident. If I truly decreased their cost, I meant to increase it. Well. Okay, Shaman cost was just unchanged. Alright. Uh-oh, is that Hedge Knight running away? Because if the Hedge Knight stays and fights, there is a chance, actually, to still win this for Mind Goblin. He might just be going to attack the mortar, though. Yeah, it appears he is trying to run away. That's too bad. That cleaver is OP. Yeah, that's a nice looking cleaver. Of course, if the shaman keeps the Hedge Knight rooted, then he may have to stick around and fight. The running really messes with the chance of champions pulling off crazy stuff. Yeah, that is true. The Hedge Knight will now have to fight his way through, though. Hedge Knights don't have footwork or any of that sort of funny business. The Hedge Knight legitimately has a chance, though. Wish you could spend points to... Oh no, but he needs to miss. Oh, he's still here. And those Wolf Riders are going to be able to get to him. Okay, honestly, this could still happen. The Hedge Knight could do this. He has a wildly good body armor too. And that body armor is going to be pretty good against the Executioner. It's happening. Of course, him being rooted is a problem. Oh my god. No way. No way. I mean, the Head Crusher having a lot of trouble doing... Oh. If that had hit... Oh, I think he might bleed to death. I think he's gonna bleed to death. What? Okay, still. That was so stupid. Incredible. Incredible. No, I mean, the winner is shock and awe. There was still a unit. It was 1v2 because there was a mortar. And based on the way we've been doing it so far, that's a shock and awe victory. Wow. That is BattleBrawl right there. Incredible. Wow. I can't hardly believe it. Wild. All right. That's crazy. Now we have Crimson Pact, not to be confused with Crimson Rain, which was another team. When I saw those two in the bracket, I actually thought originally I had made some sort of mistake. But they're two different teams. So we've got Crimson Pact versus Death Dealers. Will be the next match. You're a horrible person. How could you forget about today's BattleBrawl? Confirmed horrible person. All right, Crimson Pact and Death Dealers. Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh my goodness, what am I doing here? Ah! Would be cool if you could spawn in the arena and couldn't run. You know what's interesting is there is a map for an arena map, but the combat simulator just crashes when you try to use it. So, yeah. Just go learn some Squirrel would be the answer. I mean, it's not that complicated, but it's a matter of learning like the Battle Brothers code base really. All right. So, Crimson Pact versus Death Dealers. On the side of Crimson Pact, we have a Champion Executioner, very popular choice. It was a somewhat expensive one, so I'm kind of surprised, but 9 zombies, 5 Ancient Legionaries with polearms, 1 Barbarian Chosen, and an Orc Warrior. On the side of Death Dealers, we have a Champion, here I might need to move my webcam again. A Champion Executioner, a Zweihander, 5 Ancient Legionaries, 4 Ancient Legionaries with polearms, 2 zombies, and a ranged merc. Kind of almost a mirror match, which is sort of crazy. Very similar team compositions. Poll is up. This is some great minds think alike scenario. Yes. Yes, it is. And the prediction is rolling as well. Champion Executioners get like 38% extra damage. Yeah, but I costed them fairly high. And in my testing, I actually was kind of worried I made them too high, because they lost most of the time to most of the other champions, including the Orc Warlord and Hedge Knights, pretty reliably, and Champion Knights. But they always spawn with like a big old chunk and 2-hander weapon, which is probably overall more flexible against most enemy types. So there is that. It's looking like this is pretty evenly split, with about 50% of channel points going towards both teams. Makes sense. They're fairly similar lineups. However, in the end, we've got 59% for the Death Dealers. Or was it Death Dealers? Wait a minute. Crimson Pact. 59% for Crimson Pact. Oh, whoa. That's not what I meant to do. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Them losing to Hedge Knights is a bit surprising. Aren't their stats just straight upgrade? Maybe it was just my limited testing. All right, so our champions are, let's see, where is, oh, the Executioner versus the Scimitar, with very appropriate weapons for their titles. With the Scimitar having a, well, 2-handed cleaver. Something of a scimitar. Being super defensive does little when the rest of your team gets killed. A big 2-handed weapon is much more proactive in winning a fight. True. That would be true. They just like to run away from some flowers and unanimated pieces of metal. Flowers are spooky. Oof. Big kills by the Executioners. The Executioners already starting out with some big damage. The Scimitar has a named armor, whereas the Executioner appears to have a named Bardiche. A named Bardiche sounds like it could be pretty insane, depending on what the rolls are. Fairly even so far on both sides. Zweihanders love positioning themselves as if they have Swordmaster defense. They do. They really want to get that AoE swing in. They believe in the power of the AoE. I think he'll get in a good one if I were to guess. No, he wanted to rotate instead. Okay, gets himself in a safer position, I suppose. Rotates a shielded brother, undead brother from another generation, forward. Legionary polearm should probably be changed somehow because of how often they spawn with broken pikes. Yeah, so the probability of an ancient legionary spawning with a broken pike actually changes over time in the course of a campaign. They are way, way more likely to spawn with broken pikes early in a campaign. And then I think at day like 70? I can't remember the exact day number. Something like that. Then they cap out at like a 90% chance to spawn with an intact pike. So their pikes are actually fixing themselves over time. Fun fact. Ironically enough, Zweihander doesn't even have Underdog. No, but they do have Lone Wolf, which is kind of crazy. You think it's like 1% more per day? Yeah, that sounds right. It's like 1% more per day. That sounds correct. Yeah, I also don't remember what it starts at. Or what it ends up at. Or the day number. Just that it's a thing that happens. Hand wavy. Little rainbow, the more you know, going across the sky. Yeah, the Executioners are indeed fighting each other. Ooh. Big attacks from both Executioners. Left team's got this. Crimson Pact. Crimson Pact does appear to probably have this. They've still got some beef surviving there in the back lines. Oof. Big attack there by the Executioner. The Scimitar not able to stand up to him. Can the Zweihander just revive as a zombie when there are plenty of them? If I recall correctly, if they're killed by a zombie, they can be resurrected as a zombie on the other side. Ooh, the Scimitar just cannot hit the Executioner. And probably the Scimitar will die to this Orc Warrior, if I were to guess, but we'll see. We got some skeleton on skeleton violence going on. And the Scimitar falls. Only 3 units remain for the Death Dealers. The remaining vanguard of skeletal warriors will not be long for this world, but they are giving a violent and valiant fight. Do champions not all have 9 lives? Not all. Not all champions have 9 lives. I don't think Hedge Knights do. I don't think... Actually, only a hand. I think it's Bandit Nomad Leaders and... Skirmishers, like Goblin Skirmisher. Probably others. I can't remember. Okay, so the Goblins, yeah, but not the Ambusher. I think just the Skirmisher. Crash? No. This was a win for the Crimson Pact. It's just got a mid-animation. We're still good. It's still working. So the Crimson Pact is the winning team. Up next, we've got Daryl, which I'm assuming is German. I don't know. What does it mean? Versus Sofa King, the king of sofas, the champion of the couch. The old one? Oh, okay. All right. So it is German. That means you know that I've pronounced it correctly, because I pronounce all German words correctly. Danke very much. Sofa King, easy. All right. So, Daryl, the old one. You're welcome. Dov cool very much. Bitte if true. Oh, damn. 3 zingers right in a row. You guys are good. Shit. We've got a champion necromancer. I'm assuming that's the old one. With 4 Zweihanders, 2 Billmen, and 5 armored zombies. I like this. I see the strategy. I like what's going on there. On the side of Sofa King, we have the King of the North, a gunner, 2 Zweihanders, a goblin shaman, and 3 mercenaries. Interesting. So we'll get a poll up. The poll's going. Prediction. Is also running. Some British person's mauling over Americans trying to speak other languages. I mean... Shaman plus King of the North is a good combo. That does seem like that would be good. I agree. Similar to the Swiss contingent and Necro Dude in the last tourney, it is. That is a fairly similar looking setup. It was a powerful combo. Until they learn to use spices, they can shut up. Shots fired. This'll be a good one. This'll be a good one. Right now we've got 85% believers in Daryl. All right. And it's pretty close with 53% voting for the Sofa King. You wonder what Bijante thinks about British food? Well, he doesn't like fish, so. All right, let's see how this goes. Daryl versus Sofa King. We've got Hjalmar the Mad versus the King of the North. Hjalmar the Mad spawning with a Catal. Fancy boy. There's actually a British YouTube channel that I watch sometimes called Sorted Food. It's just like British people cooking stuff. I don't know. That axe though, it's a nice looking axe. Boy, what a setup for the gunner. Axe not quite enough to one-tap a Zweihander, but it is close. Cal would have a blast in this chat. He likes cooking, right? Sometimes he's mentioned caramelizing onions. I'm sure he would. All right, we've got one Zweihander going for the flank on the Necromancer. That is going to be a necessary thing for Sofa King to take this. And one of them is making the right move. Gunner didn't shoot. Yeah, he didn't shoot last round. He was repositioning. He got one really good shot off in round 1. And another good shot off in round 3. Ooh. Missing the King of the North. How safe. Ooh. Another big attack by the Gunner. Things actually looking pretty good for Sofa King. He makes Italian. Oh no, he's not going for the flank? My dude, Mr. Zweihander, you gotta jump on the Necromancer, you fool. What does giving the Necro Champion improve? He gets more AP to work with. So he's able to resurrect 3 units instead of 2, or resurrect plus possess, you know, more resurrections, basically. They also get a famed dagger, for what that's worth. They're not very good at using it, but they get one. How have the Goblin Champions performed so far? Usually pretty well, but it's because the team had a different strategy. Like they had the, you know, the champion Goblin so that they could make use of something else, basically. Zombie with the blonde hair looks like he has a golden skull cap. Kinda does. Green skin and blonde hair. Alright, things looking pretty good for Sofa King now that they've got the Necromancer engaged in melee, and the King of the North is still in pretty good fighting shape. Of course, their Shaman is dead, so it's going to be some Zweihander on Zweihander action. Yeah, all the corpses are decapitated. Right, that's true. Still pretty even numbers-wise. Well, it was. No longer is. It's looking like Daryl running away. It's a pretty strong composition, but unfortunately. The Necromancer could not lead his forces to victory. Could there be one hero champion Zweihander? Well, we'll have to see. Not looking good when he's stunned. Not looking good when he's laying dead on the ground. It's looking like this one is gonna go to Sofa King. 53% of you predicted that one. Easy clap. And the winner is Sofa King. Up next, we have the Anguine order. If someone smarter either in vocabulary or history could inform me on what that means. Versus Beastmaster. Was the Anguine order, is that a real thing? Is that just sanguine misspelled? Or do I just not know anything about it? Sanguine with a typo? Incredible. Incredible. I was thinking maybe that was like, you know, I don't know, a historic group of knights. Or something. I don't know. Seemed plausible. I'd have believed it. You Googled it. Anguine is an adjective that describes something as resembling or related to a snake. Well. Slurgy, one question for the next Battle Brawl. Could we still have the units from the champion list available as non-champion ones? Maybe. I kind of like the idea of the champions being exclusive, like one-offs that lead their team. We'll see. I'll probably change up the format entirely for the next one, just to keep it fresh, you know, keep it interesting. Okay, well, if that team name has something to do with snakes, then it wasn't an accident, because they have one snake. One snake. So we have a champion hedge knight, 3 goblin overseers. Can we switch up the music? The music switches up with each team. This one will switch up to the bandit tracks. 2 berserkers, 1 serpent, and 2 barbarian reavers. Up against Beastmaster, who have a King of the North, alongside 5 frenzied direwolves, 5 frenzied hyenas, and 7 spiders. Oh man. Oh man. This is a good one. The poll is up. The prediction will be going here in just a second. Prediction is rolling as well. Can the King of the North run? You know what's interesting is, so not every unit has a script to be able to run away at all. So undead units, that one I think we all know. But one that might surprise people is Orc Berserkers. Orc Berserkers literally cannot flee the battlefield. They don't have the AI script for it. So they can go to fleeing resolve and running, but they will never run at like the 35% strength. Even in regular Battle Brothers, this is also true. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are other units that have that as well, that I just, you know, I don't know. Not something that comes up too often. Beast comp, kind of exciting. Haven't seen anyone use it yet. Yeah. Yeah, we want to see some hyenas, direwolves, and snakes for Overwhelm. Should be good. All right, it looks like 57% believe in Beastmaster. Let's see what happens. The battle is underway. We have the Slayer versus the King of the North. You're watching an old VOD and noticed I talked about healthcare data. Are you an actuary by chance? I am not an actuary. My knowledge is in the domain of healthcare imaging specifically. DICOM is my old friend. Sergi fixes medical equipment? No, not what I do. I've mentioned it before, but all the information is technically out there. If you want to find, if you got like a PubMed or other journal subscriptions, or can sleuth your way to finding changes to some open source code bases, you can find some of my work. It is out there on the internet. I did attach my real given name to all my music. So. Took you forever to understand DICOM when you started as a biomed tech? Yeah, it's just structured data. That's the long and short of it. There are some really goofy ways the data is encoded, but you know, David Clooney and others are goofy people. All right, so the beasts are kind of getting smashed a little bit, unfortunately. We'll see if this King of the North, who has gotten on the back line, can redeem his allies. This Hedge Knight has spawned with a Kite Shield, which is kind of an unfortunate spawn. A Kite Shield and it looks like just an arming sword, not even a noble sword. And maybe I spoke too soon about the beasts. The there were a couple pretty big attacks by some of the orcs, like the the berserkers, but now that the frenzied direwolves are on there, whoa. That was a bizarre move by that Hedge Knight. Huh. King of the North not able to get a killing blow, but did rotate in his frenzied direwolf buddy. He's got a kind of unfortunately bad weapon as well. The barbarian hammer is just not a good base. Hedgie already fleeing? I don't think he was fleeing. I think he was trying to get to those spiders, which seems incorrect. We've got some serious overwhelming going on by the Beastmaster. The Orc Berserker would have, both of them, because of the overwhelm, aren't able to get connections on their big ol' round swings. Unfortunate for them. Spiders doing good work with their nets. Overwhelm proving to be pretty powerful. A lot of bleed stacks on these berserkers as well. Hedge Knight breaks free. One of the Orc Berserkers falls, the other Berserker falls shortly after. That Hedge Knight might actually run. You believe in your beasts? Hedge Knight breaks flee? Right. Well, we'll see what he does when his turn comes up here. No, he's still fighting. He still wants in on this. Yeah, that King of the North spawning with a hammer, that's unfortunate. Very good move by that spider. Just applying the net and then footworking away. Surprise W. Good work, spider. Hedge Knight not able to get anything done. Frenzied Hyena decides, hey, maybe I do want to fight. Big attacks by these beasts. The Hedge Knight would do well against these beasts because of the fact that he's spawning with a sword, especially if he does riposte. But that big ol' hammer is gonna cause his famed armor to crack. It's over for your channel points? Probably. We'll see. Hedge Knight doing work. You thought the Zerkers would take this easily? Yeah, the overwhelm stacks got on him and they just couldn't connect. Don't underestimate the Hedge Knight though, even with a kite shield. He's got a big ol' armor plate. King of the North has been a casual in this fight. Yeah, King of the North is a little bit weak relative to other champions. There's just a couple different weapons that they can spawn with that are kind of not that great. This being one of them. But when you hit 2 successive headshots, well, it works a lot better. And there we have it. Oh man, the winner is Beastmaster. 57% of you got that right. Does he have Headhunter? I don't think so. I don't think the Barbarian King of the North, I don't think he has Headhunter. But I guess I'm not 100% certain. I would guess not. Not too many enemies seem to have Headhunter. All right. Your first win in the whole BattleBrawl history? Well, congratulations, Corvus Korak. Up next, we have MTG Convention. Good old Magic the Gathering, which I'll be playing tomorrow. Versus Hidden Crossbow. Hidden Crossbow, the only team to use a champion Blade Dancer. Surprisingly. Cal asked you the other day, how do you spot a fake MTG card? MTG Arena stream when, Slurgy? I don't know. If there's a set I really like, I guess it could happen. There was, I think during Zendikar Returns, or what, Zendikar, Return to Zendikar? Is that what it was called? I really liked that format for Limited, and actually grinded up to like Mythic ranked 8. I have a screenshot for that. They do it by month. So in 1 month, I was a single digit rank. I played a lot of Magic that month. So, anyway. Okay. MTG Convention versus Hidden Crossbow. MTG Convention is 1 champion Stinky Goblin Skirmisher, 2 Stinky Unholds, 1 Stinky Goblin Shaman, 4 Stinky Zombies with their pants falling down, and 5 well-mannered Goblin Ambushers. Up against a champion Blade Dancer, 7 ranged Mercs, and a single Nomad Archer. Interesting. Highest you got on the arena ladder is number 4. Hey, nicely done, Apples and Fruits. Well done. Do you play under the name Apples and Fruits? All right, we'll get the poll is up. We'll get the prediction rolling. Prediction is up as well. How's you guys Diamond 4? Yeah, I mean, you have to grind a lot of game, like a lot. Like I basically chose 1 month and I just played an insane amount. So, arena drafts would be fun to watch for sure. I don't know, it could happen. If there's a format that I really like, it's actually been a hot minute since I've been on MTG Arena. I actually don't even think it's installed on this PC. I haven't played in at least a year. You're all in on the ranged Mercs? Well, isn't that your team? And you played an aggro deck to increase fight density? No, I don't. I mean, well, no, I mean, I played limited, so it was just whatever I happened to draft. I prefer limited. I'm not a big constructed fan. Gets too grindy. All right, we've got 58% thinking about the Hidden Crossbow. I think I'm inclined to agree, but let's see what happens. The Unholds are a big wild card. No pun intended. Champions are Zogrok, Nosebiter, and Yazir, the Undefeated. Now, a Blade Dancer can spawn with either a Sword Lance or a Shamshir. Generally speaking, I think Sword Lance is going to be better. And in this match especially, the Sword Lance would have been better. But we'll see. No hidden crossbow. Everyone has a bow. Looks like 4 war bows though. That's pretty good. They get the grass to hide in, so hidden at least valid. True. Instead of the one, you know, nomad, you could have done like a goblin overseer or something. MTG got 2 for 1 for the champs. Oh, they did, actually, that's true. There is a small chance for some units to spawn as champions. They got a champion ambusher, just by chance. Is the time of day random? No, it is day 1. So yeah, maybe they're... The champion spawning rules, I think, have a negative, like a negative impact, or like a negative thing based on the day number though. Oh my god. But it's day 1 in-game time. So like nomads do not have dodge, etc., etc. Anyway, there was a huge turn for the Blade Dancer there. The Blade Dancer absolutely slaying. Now that the Shaman is dead, he should be able to get rid of that problematic insect swarm. There's going to be quite a lot of damage possibility out of the unholds. We'll see how well they can hold up. These ranged mercs are really, really powerful. The thing about ranged mercs too is that even when they get jumped in melee, they have overwhelm, they have nimble, like they're still potent fighters. They will unhold up. Yazir the Undefeated? Anyone see that clown show? What was that? Dance in and out of range, disrespecting him only to throw sand at the Unhold's face? Oh my god. Yazir trying to show off? No kidding. Oof. And one of the Unholds goes to fleeing. And Yazir the Undefeated injuring the Unhold. Kind of crazy. But with that, Scimitar is capable. He has cocky trait 100%? Absolutely. That's about as cocky a move as you can get. Of course, that Unhold, despite being fully surrounded, is living a really long time. Zogrok Nosebiter has been doing some serious damage, though. Maybe not enough, but the Champion Ambusher has legit been getting it done. Spears are good. Spears are good. You saw him bite a merc's nose off. It's in the name. Oof. The disrespect, you clipped it, Roxanne, to me? Nice. Thank you. I do enjoy the random clips, revisiting them. Ever seen a Lindworm get an injury? I have not. Ooh, a disrespect move by the Unhold. Zogrok Nosebiter, managing to survive for now. Well, never mind. The only unit that remains on the side of the MTG convention is this Unhold, who will fight to the death. Oof. Or just start fleeing. Every time I say something, something else happens. It's over. It is. It looks like Hidden Crossbow is the winner. Don't unholds have like 250 resolve? Nah. Lindworms have like 180. Unholds have like 100 something. It's high, but not quite so high that it's always a 95%. And the winner is Hidden Crossbow with a very nice showing. All right. Well done, Hidden Crossbow. Up next, the Short King versus Guard Dogs. Oh, I think I remember both of these teams. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I'm very curious about both of these teams. This is a good one. They're all good ones, but this one's a real good one. You hope your Blade Dancer spawns with the Sword Lance against beasts. Yeah, it's interesting. You don't have control over that, of course, but there are gonna be some fights where you'd really rather have the Sword Lance, and some fights where, you know, pretty happy to have a sword. Do you want your sword on a stick? Or do you want your sword on a pommel? That's the real question. Okay. So, this match is a good one. We have, on the side of Short King, our king has quite the menagerie. We've got a champion goblin ambusher with 2 orc berserkers, 1 barbarian unhold, 1 barbarian beastmaster, 1 goblin shaman, 1 barbarian chosen, 1 gunner, 1 standard bearer, and that was weird. Graphical error. And a single tier 1 nacho. Go random bullshit team? Yeah, that's what's going on here. Versus 1 swordmaster with 2 guard dogs. These dogs just happen to be barbarian unholds. There is an interaction that I honestly don't know how it works, but there's an interaction potentially on this battlefield that I'm curious about. We'll see if anyone else spots it. Poll and prediction are both up. Got some big believers in the Short King. Beastmaster not whipping them back to their team, that's the one. That's what I'm curious about. What happens if the 3 unholds win and everyone else dies? I should know the answer to this ahead of time. What should happen? Huh. I guess a draw, but double loss, next person gets a bye. What are you curious about? Will the barbarian unholds be friendly with the swordmaster? They will at the start. Yeah, so if it ends up a draw, we will just have them fight it again. If it draws a second time, they both lose. So if there is truly a draw because only converted barbarian unholds survive on the battlefield, then it will be a draw. Or, you know, if that, in that case, I consider it a draw, and we'll just do the match again. If it happens twice in a row, well, at some point, we cut our losses, and both teams lose. But I think it's only fair to give them a second chance, because that could just be a freak accident. So that's what I've decided. If that's considered unfair, well, this is a dictatorship. Okay, our champions are... Wait. Zatush, Gutstabber, and Wenzel, the Dancing Blade. I thought it'd be funny for the Master to lose control of their guard dogs. I'm really curious if the Beastmaster can regain control of them. Teams combine, the 3 unholds go on in the tourney. I mean, I kind of love the idea, but... So far, they have not converted. They remain allied with their Swordmaster champion. Nope, that one just changed teams. Unfortunately for the Swordmaster, all of these debuffs are going to be too much for him. Are people spamming on holds as much as allowed after the insane Frosty Boy dominance? Well, I did increase their cost substantially after that. So far, they haven't actually proven themselves to be a winning choice, but they still are powerful. Hello, Grib. How's it going? Swordmaster missing twice in a row. Well, his stats are substantially debuffed. Goblin Poison doing work though. I think people underestimate the effects of Goblin Poison as well, even though many enemies, you know, have Relentless. Still, a fun team. Swordmaster's just getting debuffed too much though. I don't know why he didn't just footwork onto the high ground. It was right there. Nacho runs up and has a snack. Love the Swordmaster's drip though, that mustache go. Yeah, that's a great mustache. That's a beautiful mustache. Gunner mostly shoots his allies, as one does. Also, the when an unhold changes sides, that little tiny question mark that appears over their head, that is one of the assets that I used to help create the Slurgy crayon. That question mark that appears is the same question mark icon that appears over their heads when they change sides. There, just had it. Swordmaster simply getting debuffed to death. A champion Swordmaster will win against incredible odds in straight melee pitched battles. What they won't win against is Goblin Shamans and other sneaky boys. Swordmaster did nothing. Yeah, he kind of did do nothing. In the end, man. And that's it. The winner is Short King. 69%. How did I miss that? 69% of you were indeed correct. The winner is the Short King. And our last matchup for the day will be the Hung Warband versus Wild Boys. So we'll get the teams loaded up here. Okay. So, the Hung Warband has a champion, goblin ambusher, 2 big tall tree boys, 2 shrats, a goblin shaman, 5 goblin ambushers low, and 2 wolf riders. We've got kind of a goblins and trees strat. Love it. I like this. I just cursed them. Anyway, I like that team. Sorry. Up against Wild Boys, which is a warlord champion with 4 barbarian chosen and a shaman of their own. Goblin and tree strat, yes. Good old goblin and tree. The poll is up. Feel like we have too many shamans going on? I agree. I think especially for this format, it's fun. It's interesting to me just how smart y'all are, because for this format where the power of debuffs and disables is increased because every single team has one kind of super unit, that makes the value of the shaman go up, and thus all of you were smart enough to pick it. Not all, but I mean a lot of people picked the shaman on their team, which was a wise choice. I should have increased the cost, but you know, you guys are smart. I'm just a broadcast briggy. Only about 20 more seconds left on this prediction. The shaman counters many things. It does. Your gut said everyone would go Swordmaster, so you loaded your team with range. Nice. I think your team's still really strong. I mean, I think some of the ranged units are really quite powerful. So, all right, we've got 68% believers in the Wild Boys. People believe in the power of the caster curse, and well, fair. All right, our champions are Reek, the Knife Juggler, versus Goruk Sapat. 2 axes for the trees. Yes, they do have axes. It looks like Hung Warband also recognizes their ranged advantage. Ambushers getting some good volleys off. Shamans getting some serious rooting. Not the Australian kind. If the ambushers can snipe that shaman, then I think good things could happen for Hung Warband. If not, they could be in trouble. Oof. Big attack. Big attacks by these chosen. Oh my goodness. So far, the Shrats haven't done anything. Can't resist the round swing. I know. It's so funny. Enemy AI, like, if you give a unit an opportunity to use an AoE attack, even if they hit their own allies, they're like, why not? Looks fun. But a human player would never, right? Almost never. I do sometimes shoot into like my tank with a handgun. I don't think that counts though. Shaman's getting some very powerful roots. Yeah, AI sees AoE attack hitting 2 targets, neurons activate. So hard watching your own team. I know, because you want them to do something different than whatever it is that they're doing. So the shaman on the side of Hung Warband has been dismantled. The shaman on the side of the Wild Boys is still intact, though. But there, ooh, I was gonna say there is a skirmisher making their way, and that ambusher did shoot the shaman, but he did not shoot the deputy. The Shrat attacking his ally, questionable. I don't think that's your target, buddy. I don't know why that Shrat doesn't just attack the Chosen that's in melee with him. That is so strange. The Shrat... Ooh, okay. So the Shrat's shield was broken by that axe, but of course that does give him little Shratlings. The Shratlings increased the number of units on the battlefield, which then caused that skirmisher to attack the shaman. So kind of a hidden benefit there. The shaman might die. It's looking likely. Well, just kidding. Shaman said bonk. He did indeed. Caster Curse is real. It's incredible how real it is. Oh! Alright, the little sapling. Sapling moves up to take out the shaman. Shrat's still hanging in there. Shrats and Hexen has been underwhelming in every battle brawl. True. Could the Shrats manage to do it this time, though? They might, actually. I think the Shrats have a chance. Powerful debuff there by that shaman. If the little sapling can take it out, that'll be huge. It can. But not before the Shrat takes a bunch of damage. There are so many saplings out on the field, though. So if the Shrat regenerates his shield, that was smart. That was big, actually. Very close fight, very close fight. This is really close. That barbarian did work with such little health, yeah. This remains super close. This could go either way very easily. No, I don't know. I don't think the... Yeah, I think the Shrat's gonna take this. Most likely. I don't think the Warlord has enough fatigue. Yeah, he doesn't have enough fatigue to actually make use of, like, Berserk. Incredible! And the winner is... surprisingly, 32% of you will be happy to see the Hung Warband. The Caster Curse has lifted. Indeed. So, we'll take a look at the standings here. This will be continued tomorrow. That was gonna, that's the final fight for today. We just played through round 1, which in a Swiss-style tournament is half of the matches. So the other half of the matches will take place tomorrow. In Central US time, that'll be 12:30, so just after noon. The time in your time zone is in the Discord. So, !Discord, the pinned note or comment in the BattleBrawl channel will give the start time of the second phase of the broadcast in your local time. So our winners are Undead Distraction, Spearanoid, French Briggies, Crimson Rain, Slow Aproc, Green Wah, Butcher's Napkin, Overwhelm Good, Ranged Advantage, Shock/Awe, Crimson Pact, Sofa King, Beastmaster, Hidden Crossbow, Short King, and Hung Warband. So the finals again will be a best of 3, as we've done it previously. And yeah, that'll be that. I wanted to do the whole thing in one day, but simply won't have the time tomorrow. And so I actually am gonna need to wake up early tomorrow morning to load up a whole bunch of stuff in a truck, and then I'll be ready to broadcast a continued BattleBrawl adventure. Craig Harrison, thank you for the Prime sub. So that's gonna be it for me for today. I will again be back tomorrow. And where should I send y'all? I'll send you to, I know where I'll send you. When does XCOM start? XCOM should start either Monday or Tuesday of next week. TBD. And I'm very excited. I'm gonna send you guys over to Perry the Pig. He's a Last Epoch streamer who has a very similar visual appearance to me, actually, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Last Epoch just had its Season 2 released. I don't know that I'm gonna play it, but I really enjoy Last Epoch. It's a great game. If you like ARPGs, you should check it out. So, tomorrow, we return. So to you, wherever you are in the world, make it a good one. See you tomorrow. Ta-ta.